Hello, welcome to AM Reviews. I am Angelina Maria, the creator of this podcast. I pretty much created this podcast because I love TV and film. I love going to the movies and things of that nature. But to be honest, I pretty much made this podcast so I could talk about Teleported Sisters. So don't be shocked if you hear about it every episode. Anyway, like I said, welcome to the pilot, welcome to the premiere. I have a few things on the docket today. The first being the first half of All the Queen's Men, season 4, the first 5 episodes. The first half of Zatima, season 3, the first 10 episodes. And the first half of Sisters, Tyler Perry Sisters, season 8, the first 11 episodes, as well as Wicked and Mufasa, because I went to the theater recently. Anyway, let's get into it. First in the docket, we have All the Queen's Men. I have a few things about it. The first being concierge and Madam, their cat and mouse thing, and them kind of going back and forth. I wonder why he used her as a pawn to get rid of the dad, which I know that might seem self-explanatory, but it's like, why did you want to take over the business so bad, or what do you want to do with it since you decided to take it over? Um, the second being the whole sister dynamic. We got a new character. We got a few new characters, but Amp's mom. We finally meeting her for the first time and, seeing how she ran off. I wonder our Madam and Carla, excuse me, I wonder are they gonna become more buddy buddy and bond more because they want to see what Tracy up to. I think that's her name anyway. Speaking of Amp, we could talk about Dime and Amp. I don't like their relationship. That's just the long and short of that. I feel like the person that's getting gaslight or gaslit in this relationship is Amp. I feel like Dime is very audacious. Like, you are the one that snooped through this man's house, went to his auntie, and said, "Your nephew is stealing from you." Like, you ain't never worked from this woman and don't know how she get down. Like, you didn't put his life in danger when you told that lie and didn't even ask him not one question after you went through his stuff in his house. So yeah. And then it's like, he got to win her trust back and he got to do this and he got to do that. And it's like, well, technically she wronged him. So I'm confused. But what do I know? But I don't care for that relationship. A relationship I like even less than theirs. Miss Mayor and Mr. Face. Miss Mayor and Mr. Face. I don't like that relationship at all. I don't care for Face as a character, to be honest. And Miss Tandy is not that likable for me, but I really don't care for Face as a character at all, honestly. But I have noticed one thing. Ray Sean, just to kind of piggyback off that, Ray Sean, I see that there's a new guy and he's decided to take him under the wing and kind of protect him from Face. I do like that he's not like, oh, well, I had to learn and I had to figure it out. So does everybody else. He's more like, ain't nobody ever gonna experience what I went through. That was crazy, and no one should endure that. And if I can, I'm gonna do everything in my power to prevent it. So I do like that. Speaking of other stupid relationships, Doc and Detective Davis. I feel like this. That relationship really isn't stupid per se. I actually kind of like them together. Maybe I'm wrong for that. But my problem is, if Tina died in season 1 and you didn't really start messing around with her own girl to the end of season 2, season 3, you want to explain to me how she got your shirt? Like, that shirt should have been gone. So we just don't wash our clothes. So we just dirty out here, Doc. Like, I feel like that could have been executed a lot better. That's how I feel. Like, maybe if they would have got together sooner or if Tina would have died later, I just feel like it could have got executed a lot better. In my opinion, it didn't get executed the way I feel like it should have got executed, but I digress. Last thing about that, and I'm going to move on to the next thing on the docket is Blue. I'm kind of welcoming the backstory of Blue and learning about Blue, but one thing I do like is actually all three of these shows are doing this is the whole therapy theme. I'm glad she's in therapy, but I'm really willing to learn the backstory of Blue and why she is who she is and things of that nature. But that's just my tidbit on All the Queen's Men. Next on the docket is Zatima. I'ma say this. Now I knew Jeremiah was on drugs. I thought he was a crackhead. I did not know that he was a heroin addict. I will say this. I understand that when you're on drugs or you're homeless or however you are, especially when you're on drugs or alcohol and stuff like that, you look a certain way. sometimes y'all ain't got to oversell it. In my opinion, I went from feeling bad for him to laughing at him like the patches in the head. I was like, all right, sell that a little less, okay? Because now he's just funny. But I will say this: Zach, in my opinion, was wrong. I don't think he's wrong for wanting to defend it, uh, Fatima. I think he's wrong for going up in Belinda's house and tearing up her house. I think he's wrong for punching his friends. I think the way he went about it was wrong. Your mama just died. Your brother, you come to find out your girl is pregnant, and you just lost your money because Buddy Boy didn't know how to listen. And I'm going to get to that in a second. And he done put his hands on her accidentally or whatever. This ain't the time to be going to jail because you really raw on emotion right now. Like you really, really raw on emotion right now. So I do get them want to not tell Zach, but I feel like Fatima should have told Zach. That's just my opinion. I feel like maybe she could have finessed that story, like he startled her and it spooked her and she fell back or she hit her head. Like I feel like she should have just told him something to where if Jeremiah be like, "Oh, I did something," he'll be like, "Yeah, I told you, baby. He scared me." And if he try to be like, "No, I did it," I'm like, "You gonna believe somebody that's high off heroin? Baby, he high right now." Like he in La La Land, and like you could have sold that and got away with that. And I feel like she did. She pulled an Andy pretty much. Like it was a way to de-escalate the situation, and you chose the worst way, which was escalated even more by acting like it doesn't exist. Um, One thing I will say about another thing about Fatima, I don't dislike Fatima as a character. I do like her as a character, so let me say that up front for the kids. Crystal Gems come try to beat me up. But I will say this. One thing I do not like is a couple things she does I don't like. One being one being sorry about that. One being her throwing up in Zach's face that he's been to jail and he can't do this, that, and the third because he'll go to jail. Baby, only reason why you ain't been to jail is because you have the resources to prevent you from going. Not because you just so above or you so no. You got hitters, you got family, lawyer, you got all types of resources that prevent you from going. He don't have them resources and you know that. So to throw that in his face, I don't respect and I don't like. Um, yeah, that's the main thing she does. I just really don't like. And then I also feel like sometimes she turns her nose up a little bit. Follow me for a second when I say this. I can see how she ended up sleeping with Hayden. And the reason why I say this is because Connie, yes, Connie's loud, Connie's ratchet. She could be a lot of things, but Connie is real. And Connie never came at Fatima, in my opinion, disrespectful or anything like that. She was just kind of a little loud and ratchet, but she was like upfront and honest and even told her, I think you a cool chick. I think you for Zach and that's all that matter. Like she would somewhat defend her against the mama and, because the mama was disrespectful. Connie never was. I feel like the way she treated Connie was the way, in my opinion, she should have more so treated his family. Because you got all the patience and grace for the family who calling you all out your name, but the girl that's trying to help you, you want to get her cold shoulder. Okay, this anger is misplaced. That's just how I feel. Speaking of misplaced anger, Mr. Bryce, let me say something. Back to this whole what is the theme of I do something wrong and now I'm the victim. That boy told you don't spend that money, don't make that investment, don't make that buy. You did what you wanted and lost everybody money. And then had no way, absolutely no way, to get a dime, a quarter, a penny of it back. And you knew this. Well, you thought your daddy had it, but to be honest, baby, you knew this because that's why you pressured him on it. Because in my opinion, you knew this and you thought I don't know what that child thought. But what gets me is when you get to the point where he's dramatic and a hypochondriac because now you so distraught, you decided to be suicidal. Trigger warning. Just trigger warning. Now, I'm not saying it's okay to be suicidal, but if that's a decision that you decide to make, you make a conscious decision that you want this to be your last day on earth, that's between you and the good Lord. Why you gonna drag somebody else in that? The fact that he crashed his car not into a tree, but into somebody else's car, who either just left their house or was finna go home, finna come home. Like you could have killed that person because you goofed up and you decided to be dramatic. I was like, bro, like I said, it's one thing to be suicidal. Like I said, trigger warning, not trying to be rude or disrespectful or insensitive. But that's between you and the good Lord. But to drag somebody else in that is asinine, in my opinion. Last but not least, and then I'm gonna move on to sisters because this is kind of a good segue actually into sisters is Preston. I'm gonna be honest. I'm actually welcoming Preston onto Zatima. I'm for it. I think it's good. It's a smaller cast. It's a smaller everything. So I think it'll be a lot better for Preston because his character I feel like kind of got caught up in all the sister stuff and it might be in good hang, but whatever. Um, my thing is this, and I said this when I found out he was gonna be part of the cast. I said his only real relevancy is tied to Danny. Everybody got up and got all that ain't true. He da 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 da. Him is that cool? Okay, how did they become cool? When did they become cool? Why were they cool? Daniela King, Daniela King, Daniela King. If y'all got 10 episodes, that girl ain't never been on there. Why did she get talked about for 4 of them? The first 4 episodes that man was on this show, they Danny, 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 Danny. That's all I heard. Every time he was in the scene, Danny, Danny, the Danny, Daniela, Miss King. And it was like the way they could have literally like lightly severed them two, even if they brought him back, but lightly severed them two, as well as Miss Mindy. When they talked about the Facebook scene and whatever, this is how it could have went, and that could have just freed him, and he could have been his own character, was still being tied to them indirectly if you wanted to pull them back up. He was like, yeah, she just wanted attention. He could have been like, no, she really cared about you. She was asking for prayers. Zach could have said, what happened to you and old girl? Oh, it didn't work out. We got an annulment. You know, they love that on them Tyler Perry shows. They love to get an annulment real quick. Yeah, we got an annulment. Then he could have been like, you and Danny still friends? Yeah, I know she with Buddy. You know, it ain't no love lost. You know, we still, you know, we like a post every now and again, say our highs and goodbyes, but ain't nothing real. You know, it just is what it is. That way, if you bring him back on Sisters, they're still connected. If Mindy, you want to bring her back, there's no love lost. And then Preston would have been free of 2 women and he could have been his own character. The fact that y'all spent 4 episodes bashing Danny to try to make him look better didn't do nothing but make him look sorrier as a character because that further proved the point that he cannot stand on his own. Because you went from bashing Danny to now you trying to connect him to Deja, who's also supposedly not supposed to be so seen as so damaged. So it's just like, bruh, whatever. I just feel like can we do better by Preston if we gonna add him? But I'm moving on to Sisters, which will be starting back up actually today on New Year's. um, they will be starting back up tonight actually for the second half of season 8. I pray to God that it moves faster than the first half. Y'all spent 8 solid episodes on one day. To be honest, that is the worst writing I have ever witnessed in the history of writing. There is no reason why anything should be moving that slow. There was no reason. It'd be different if like a whole bunch was going on. They was jam packing stuff in. They was not. They literally took the last 10 minutes of the first episode and it elongated it for 40 minutes. Then we got an unnecessary Sister Circle episode. I move faster. Move faster. I pray. The second half they move faster, they'll do better. One thing, they did do a couple good things, so I'm gonna speak on those. One of them is Cameron's growth. I'm proud of that. She's getting to a point where she's finally leaving Zach alone, seriously finna give Aaron a shot and getting off her team and they might be becoming friends. And she's a lot more respectful to Pam. So I'm proud of that. That was one good thing they did. Another goofy part they did was whatever the heck is going on between Andy, Penelope, Gary, Robin, and Jordan. That's a mess. Jordan, you think your sister stabbed Gary, but you gonna let her go all in Andy's house and smack that girl around. And back to Andy, why you let that girl smack you all around your house like that? That's crazy. I wish she would. That's insane. And then you got Robin wanting to be with you, And moving on. Sabrina's storyline, yawn. Just yawn. She wants a baby. I feel like she's trying to bully slash trying to force that man to have a baby because you're gonna have a baby with another man. You don't do that. That's disrespectful. But yawn. And then you got Paige and Maurice in the background fighting over a pin with a feather. What is we doing? And then Miss Danny. I will say this. Danny is my favorite character. So you're gonna hear that a lot. But I will say this. One thing I'm proud about Danny is she is taking therapy seriously. She just got a lot of trauma she got to deal with, and that's a lot. In the midst of Buddy Tony thinking he helping her, and he is, but sometimes it's pressure on her. He has not had to endure what Danny had to endure. Danny had to endure a lot. And whenever she endured so much, people laughed at her and no grace was given. So I just want to see what's gonna happen on this second half. By the way, Danny did not have a heart attack. She did have a panic attack. Not to make light of her situation, she had a panic attack and anxiety attack. Now, all three are brought on by high levels of stress. So, and they do feel the same. So, there's that. That's my tidbit on Sisters. I am finna get into the two movies that I saw the past couple weeks, which is actually Wicked and Mufasa. I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna start with Wicked. I'm gonna start off by saying I'm giving that a 10 out of 10. And Mufasa, I'm giving it a 9 out of 10. I'm about to explain why. Wicked gets a 10 out of 10 because good cast, good visuals, it had good songs, good choreography. It was amazing from beginning to end, and it's a long film. So for you to be that great for how long you are, that more so gives it a 10 out of 10 because usually long films, after a while, you get bored. That was not a dull moment. Mufasa, good cast. They really redeemed themselves from that first one. That first one they kind of goofed up and they made up for that. Only reason why it gets a 9 out of 10 is because it was like two songs. I was like, let me look at the cast. I feel like I feel like they had a couple expendable moments. So I was able to go on my phone. But I will say something and we're gonna close it on now. There in the industry, there's a lot of Nepo babies. There are. There's one baby that ain't, she gonna be a lot of things, but Nepo ain't it, and that is Miss Blue Ivy Carter. To be honest, her performance was really, really nice, and it was a really good addition to this. Like she interacted with Rafiki very well. She kept the story going. She did good with Timon and Pumbaa. And if you remember the original, she did, but she didn't. I like Blue Ivy Carter as Simba's daughter almost better than the original Simba's daughter. And I grew up at that time. She was just really, she really, really was good. Just as I know, I even saw her when she performed with her mama in the Renaissance tour, and she's good. She gonna be a lot of things. That baby gonna go far, and it ain't gonna be just because her parents are Beyonce and Jay-Z. That's gonna help, but to be honest, she has a work ethic and she has a talent that is yet to be truly seen and going to be really anticipated, and it's going to be worth the anticipation. I can see that already. Her parents being her parents is just a bonus. Like, she really has it, and I just really can't wait to see what her career is going to be. But that's how I'm gonna close it on out. Once again, my name is Angelina Maria, and this has been AM Reviews. Welcome to the pilot, y'all. We just getting things started, and actually, usually the podcast will be uploaded on Fridays. That's typically where it be. But since it started on New Year's, and it's I'm starting it in the new year, I thought to kick it off on the first day of the year. Anyway, see y'all in a couple of days. All right, bye.